For the information of the committee, Mr. Chair, from 125,000 in 2014 to 3 million in 2015, the cash or the current assets skyrocketed in 2018 to 67,775,800 pesos. San po nanggaling itong napakalaking perang ito? How do you describe the nature of this ownership when it is only 0.8% being shared by 3? Because, to my opinion, they are nominal if not dummy.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, they're not dummies. I think the correct term is they are nominal shareholders.
Attorney, for the record, kayo po ba ay may pamilya?
Meron po.
Maaari niyo po bang banggitin ang pangalan ng inyong asawa?
Si Myla Roque po.
And I understand, Attorney Harry Roque, that your wife, Myla Roque, is likewise a government employee. Do you confirm?
Former. She no longer is.
What benefits or allowances does she receive?
She gets per diem per hearing.
Magkano po ba yung tinatanggap niyang per diem per meeting?
Hindi ko po talaga alam kasi hindi namin pinag-uusapan yan, but it was a very modest sum.
May we know how much your salary is as member of the House during that time?
I don't know, maybe 200, 300,000. I don't know, 200,000 po, no? 200,000 a month.
Then ask, how much was your salary as presidential spokesperson?
Almost the same because it was the same salary grade as a congressman.
May we know the names of your children?
The first one is Bianca Jacinta, and the second one is Harrison Jacob.
Does these names of your children have any connection with Biancham?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
You were holding 49.96% ownership, while your wife Myla is holding 49.96% ownership. Do you confirm?
If that is what appears in records, I confirm that, Mr. Chair, but I do not have a copy of the records before me right now.
In other words, Mr. Chair, the remaining 0.8% is the ownership which are being shared by Joel Butuyan, Zarmay Garcia, and Eileen Garcia. How do you describe the nature of this ownership when it is only 0.8% being shared by 3? Because, to my opinion, they are nominal if not dummy.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, they're not dummies. I think the correct term is they are nominal shareholder. They hold qualifying shares so that we can complete the minimum 5.
The company or the corporation is required to file an audited financial statement. Does our resource speaker confirm?
I confirm that, Mr. Chair.
Cash for 2014 of Biancham in the total amount of 125,300 pesos. Noticeably, the cash increased from 125,000 from 2014 to 3,125,300 pesos in 2015 were prior to the administration of former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. For the information of the committee, Mr. Chair, from 125,000 in 2014 to 3 million in 2015, the cash or the current assets skyrocketed in 2018 to 67,775,800 pesos. San po nanggaling itong napakalaking perang ito? Please enlighten us.
Nagbenta po ang pamilya ko ng isang 1.8 hectares na lupa sa multinational village, Parañaque. We sold it to the Velarde Group. In turn, the Velarde Group swapped it to the SM Group. And our 1.8 hectares now is where the SM warehouse is located. I do not remember the exact amount, but it is roughly for the 1.8 hectares, 216 million.
Did you disclose this in your statement of asset and liabilities and net worth?
I remember I declared cash of 60 million, Mr. Chair, in my SALN.
What explains the disparity? Why not declare the 67 million instead of 60 million cash only?
Because I did not have 67 million in cash at that point in time, Mr. Chairman.
Section 2, Rule 130 of the Rules of Court. Documentary evidence. Documents as evidence consist of writings, recordings, photographs, or any material containing letters, words, sounds, wish to manifest that we are establishing the amount contained in the audited financial statement, which has disparity to the amount that was disclosed as represented by the resource speaker in his SALN for 2018. And I maintain, Mr. Chair, whatever is reflected in the audited financial statement should have been declared in exact amount in the SALN of the resource speaker. If I may continue, Mr. Chair, Republic Act Number 3019, Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, Section 7, Statement of Assets and Liabilities, shall prepare and file with the office of the corresponding department head. We ask the resource speaker, did you strictly comply with the requirements of these laws?
Mr. Chair, to the best of my abilities, yes, because my last net worth that I declared was 124 million pesos.
Please, Atty. Roque, submit your SALN since 2016 to 2022.
Your Honors, may I manifest that I will do even more than that? I have asked the House of Representatives to submit my SALN.
That a certain Percival Ortega, per October 2020 GIS, is now the owner of 99.99% ownership of Biancham Holdings.
We invested proceeds from the sale of our Parañaque property, the 1.8 hectares, into a real estate project in Bataan.
What mode of transfer was used for the spouses Roque to be able to transfer it to the name of Percival Ortega?
In the form of a trust, all of us executed trust agreements to Percival Ortega because he will be eventually the one to divide amongst us the property, also pursuant to what the judgment of the estate court will adjudge.
May we direct the resource speaker, Mr. Chair, that we be furnished with a copy of this trust agreement?
Mr. Chair, with all due respects, this is a legislative inquiry on pogos, and I think it has become too personal already.
Mr. Chair?
I will submit a copy of the deed of sale of the property to show that the money that we used to acquire the property in Bataan was legitimately sourced and did not come from pogos. I just would like to raise the issue of materiality. I answered questions on source of funds to prove it did not come from pogo, because we sold 1.8 hectares which is a commercial property in multinational village Parañaque, which I felt was material to this inquiry.
With all due respect to the resource speaker, but I insist that we provided with the mode or the instrument that was used in the transfer of the shareholdings from spouses Roque to Attorney Percival Ortega. I wish to go back to our previous committee hearings, Mr. Chair. We have established a number of circumstantial evidence already, which, when taken together, will lead to one reasonable conclusion that our resource speaker has connection to Lucky South 99. At first, I was surprised by the sudden increase of the assets of Biancham that is coming from 125,000 to 3 million, and then in 2018 to 67 million. And now, Mr. Chair, we have seen a sudden change in the name of the shareholder or the stockholder of Biancham, formerly from spouses Roque and now to Attorney Percival Ortega. I wish to rule out, to verify, ito po bang mga movement ng pera na ito? After all, he is the one who mentioned na hindi ito galing sa pogo. Let the quad verify kung saan nga nanggaling ang mga perang ito, Mr. Chair.
The committee must be convinced that indeed the proceeds of the sale of your property is the one that is now being reflected as the assets of the Biancham Corporation. So I would ask our resource persons to please comply with the request of Congresswoman Jinky Luistro.
I would comply, Mr. Chair, but may I be allowed to say that I differ with the good Congresswoman's conclusion that circumstantial evidence have linked me with Pogo. I assert that my relationship with Sandra Ong was a professional relationship.
And common modes of transfer of these shareholdings are by way of sale or assignment. And if these are the cases or the modes which were adopted by Biancham, I believe that there is an obligation to pay the necessary taxes for the transfer. The state can file a criminal case for tax evasion against any taxpayer who willfully attempts in any manner to evade or defeat payment of any tax imposed by the tax code. That we direct the resource speaker to submit his income tax return for 2018 declared in 2019, Mr. Chair.